What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. This is a video I was meaning to do quite a bit ago, but again, I just did not have the time to do it. So for that, I apologize. But it is my bowl game review for every game that is not a New Year's Six bowl game. If you are concerned with those, there are different videos on my channel. In a separate video, reviewed the 6 games that encapsulate the New Year's Six. That's including the college football playoff. And most recently, I did a video recapping the national championship game, which, as of recording and uploading this, we are just a couple days removed from. So if you're interested in those, I encourage you to go check them out. But if your favorite team is a team on this board, hey, stick around, maybe listen to what I have to say. Thank you guys for clicking on the video. You clicked on it, you showed your interest, and I really do appreciate that. If you would like to hear stuff about me or if you'd like to hear my opinion on things during the off season, get some off season videos, things like that. We got 8 more months until the next season starts. Hey, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you know when I upload, because uploads will not be super frequent in the off season just because of scheduling and again, not as the off season, definitely not as busy as the regular season, but please, anything you can to help support the channel would mean a lot to me. So let's go ahead and dive on into this review. I'm going to try to keep this video pretty short, as short as I can for the amount of games on here. So let's not waste any more time and dive right into it. The Bahamas Bowl kicked this off to start bowl season. It's Middle Tennessee and Toledo. And for Toledo, there was a lot of Bryant Koback in this game. He had only 18 carries, but 126 yards. Did not get into the end zone, unfortunately, but still a big presence for Toledo in this game. But this was a wide receiver dueling battle. Jaron Pearson, Matt Landers each had 4 catches over 100 yards and a touchdown. They were helping, trying to keep their team alive, but Middle Tennessee takes the lead late. They're up 31-17. Toledo scores towards the end of the game, trying to keep it competitive, but just was out of reach for Toledo. Middle Tennessee is the winner of the Bahamas Bowl, as both of those teams finished 7-6. So some really good stuff there by both of those teams. We'll see what both of them can do next year. But for now, Middle Tennessee, your winner of the Bahamas Bowl. The Cure Bowl was up next, and I knew this one was going to be a good one. Northern Illinois and Coastal Carolina. Rocky Lombardi versus Grayson McCall, and it did not disappoint. Lombardi went 20 of 33, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, along with 8 carries for 66 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Grayson McCall, 22 of 30 for 315 yards, 4 touchdowns, along with 10 carries and 40 yards for him as well. Both quarterbacks were making plays for their teams all over the field, and playmakers were stepping up elsewhere. Jay Ducker, running back for Northern Illinois, 24 carries, 146 yards. And Isaiah Likely, tight end for Coastal Carolina, 7 catches for 96 yards and 2 tutties on the day, 2 of Grayson McCall's 4. But one player that I think really made a difference in this game, and a pretty substantial reason why Coastal Carolina won, was Jones just was not able to get going in this game. So Braden Bennett, or not really to get going to his production level. So Braden Bennett comes out in this game and shows out. He had 6 carries for 108 yards, 2 touchdowns, along with 4 carries for 47 yards and a touchdown receiving as well. Braden Bennett played fantastic, was a huge reason Coastal Carolina won this game. But Northern Illinois could have won it towards the end of the game here. They were driving. They were deep inside Coastal Carolina territory, and they got a first down with around 2 seconds left, but just could not get another snap off, trying to spike the ball so that there was no time left on the clock. He was tackled inbounds, but no time left on the clock for Northern Illinois to try to just get one last gasp effort, and it's Coastal Carolina who wins the Cure Bowl to kick off a pretty exciting first day of bowl season, but there was a lot more excitement to come. Our first big slate of games came on December 18th, and it led off with Western Kentucky and App State. Again, an early kickoff here, but it did not disappoint. And we had some history made in this game by Bailey Zappi. And if you don't know who he is, you don't know the name, I encourage you to go watch highlights of what he did this year, because he was phenomenal in this game. 33 of 47 for 422 yards, 6 touchdowns, and now has set the record for most passing yards and passing touchdowns in a single season. He holds both of those records close, nearly 6,000 passing yards and 62 touchdowns. I don't know if that's going to be broken for a long time. And just explosive offense all over this field. The App State just could not keep up. Jarrett Stearns, Mitchell Tinsley were weapons for Bailey Zappi. And the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers are your winners of the Boca Raton Bowl in 2021. All right, moving on now to the New Mexico Bowl, where we saw UTEP, a surprise this season, and Fresno State. Previously, Jake Haener entered the transfer portal, but decided to remove his name and did come back and play in this game. He went 26 of 41 for 286 yards and a touchdown. So not a super productive day here for Jake Haener, but Jordan Mims was who that touchdown was thrown to, and he had a fantastic day for Fresno State. 29 carries, 165 yards for 2 touchdowns on the ground, and through the air, 5 catches for 71 yards and a touchdown for Jordan Mims. He was phenomenal. He was outstanding. Big reason why Fresno State is your winner of the New Mexico Bowl. Of course, for UTEP over on the other side, not really a whole lot of offensive production, but they hung with it. They were able to keep with Fresno State. And Trent Thompson, if they had wide receiver ratings, his wide receiver rating would be pretty high in this one. Trent Thompson only had around 9 catches, I think, all year. And in this one, 2 of them for 2 touchdowns and 52 yards. So good day for Trent Thompson, but not a good day for his Miners, as they are bested by the Fresno State Bulldogs. The Independence Bowl now between UAB and Tyler Algier and BYU. And I say Tyler Algier and BYU because it really only looked like Tyler Algier out there on the offensive side. He had 27 carries, 192 yards, and 3 tutties on the day for Tyler Algier. He was outstanding, but so was the running back across from him. It was Dwayne McBride, 28 carries, 183 yards, and a touchdown for him to go along with the quarterback for UAB, Dylan Hopkins, who went 19 of 23, only for 189 yards, but hey, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, helped UAB win this game. UAB just kind of controlled the clock towards the end of the game, able to outlast the 13th, at the time, the 13th ranked team in the nation. I realize the final AP poll is out now. You guys will get my thoughts tomorrow or Saturday. And UAB, your winner of the Independence Bowl. In the Lending Tree Bowl, Liberty absolutely thrashed Eastern Michigan, and it's all Malik Willis in this one. Only 13 of 24, an okay day for him, but 231 yards, 3 touchdowns, along with 8 carries for 58 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground for him. So a 5-touchdown day for Malik Willis leads Liberty to a win in the Lending Tree Bowl. The Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. Yes, Jimmy Kimmel has a bowl game named after him, played in SoFi Stadium. Beautiful stadium, by the way. It's Utah State and Oregon State. And if you remember, I did pick Utah State to win this game. And, well, it showed why. Utah State obviously was the better team here in this one, and they were the better team throughout the game in this one. Calvin Tyler, a running back for Utah State, 26 carries for 120 yards and a touchdown for him. And just Devin Tompkins, absolutely outstanding. 6 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown for him. A lower scoring affair here. Utah State scores 24 and beats the Oregon State Beavers by 11. And then the final game of this first fun bowl-filled Saturday was the New Orleans Bowl between Louisiana and Marshall. And again, this one was never really in doubt for, at the time, the 23rd ranked Raging Cajuns, as they go on to win 36-21 behind Levi Lewis and Amani Bailey. Levi Lewis had 270 yards on 19 of 31 passing for a touchdown, and Amani Bailey 17 carries for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rasheen Ali did all he could for Marshall. He had all 3 of their touchdowns on 20 carries for 160 yards. Of course, those 3 touchdowns as well, but just Grant Wells could not get anything going with the passing game, and Marshall loses by 15. All right, that is your first bowl-filled Saturday. Of course, no games played on Sunday for NFL. So we move on to December 20th, where we had Tulsa and Old Dominion, and Tulsa controlled every part of this game. It was close here for a little bit, but the stat sheet tells you that Tulsa should have won this game by a lot more than they did. It's the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Baran, the quarterback for Tulsa, went 22 of 34, 285 yards, 2 touchdowns. Shamari Brooks, 26 carries, 107 yards, and a touchdown. And Josh Johnson, a receiver, 8 catches for 129 yards and a touchdown for him. Tulsa wins by 13 and fairly easy. They were able to control pace of play, time of possession, total yardage, pretty much anything, you name it. Tulsa had the advantage in that game, and they win the Myrtle Beach Bowl. the Idaho Potato Bowl as we move in the games now on the 21st. Again, another high-scoring affair and an offensive explosion from Wyoming, and Levi Williams, only 9 of 11 for 127 yards and a touchdown passing. But listen to what Levi Williams, the quarterback, mind you, did on the ground. 16 carries for 200 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns on the day. He was unstoppable on the ground. Xavier Valladay, the prime running back there at Wyoming, had a good day as well. 19 carries for 86 yards and a touchdown for him. On the other side, Dustin Crum tried. He really did. He had a good stat line, 17 of 27, 316 yards, 4 touchdowns, along with 14 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown for him. Marquez Cooper, 1,000-yard rusher this year, 24 carries, 125 yards, and Dante Cephas, 1,000-yard wide receiver for Dustin Crum, 4 carries for 116 yards and a touchdown. But again, just too much of an offensive explosion from Levi Williams and Xavier Valladay. Wyoming wins the Idaho Potato Bowl by 14. And now moving on to the final game on the 21st, of course, the only other game on the 21st, the Frisco Bowl. And this game definitely surprised me, but there were a couple of players that just balled out for San Diego State in this game. No Sincere McCormick for UTSA sitting out for draft purposes, so they had to go with Brendan Bailey, and he didn't play that bad. 16 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Not a bad day for him at all. Frank Harris at quarterback was able to find Zachary Franklin in this game. Zachary Franklin had 8 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown, while Harris went 22 of 36 for 271 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. But on the other side for San Diego State, a couple players really did ball out in this game for them, meaning the quarterback, Lucas Johnson. He went 24 of 36 for 333 yards and 3 touchdowns, had a rushing touchdown as well. And Jesse Matthews, the star wide receiver over there at San Diego State, or at least their best wide receiver, he had 11 catches for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns for him. And it all led to a 14-point win for the Aztecs in the Frisco Bowl. And then on the 22nd of December, to round out this first column of games here, was the Armed Forces Bowl. Of course, no Connor Bazelak here. He has since transferred to Indiana for Missouri, so they had to go with Brady Cook. He went 27 of 34, 238 yards and a touchdown, along with a rushing touchdown on the ground, but nothing else really going for Missouri on offense. This was not an offensive game. Defense definitely showed up. Anderson had a solid day. Jacoby Buchanan had a solid day for Army, but the hero of this game was Cole Talley with a game-winning 41-yard field goal as time expires. And this broke a lot of losing streaks for Army against Power 5 teams, SEC teams, what have you, ended streaks, and Army walks away from this one, your winner of the Armed Forces Bowl. Really, as it should be, right? Shouldn't an Armed Force Academy team win the Armed Forces Bowl every year? That's exactly what happened. Army wins the Armed Forces Bowl. And now into the Frisco Classic on December 23rd. Not the Frisco Bowl, the Frisco Classic. Again, North Texas, without some of their better players in this game in Miami, really no question here about this one. Brent Gabbert, 22 of 31 for 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kenny Tracy had 14 carries for 92 yards and a touchdown for Miami of Ohio. And Jake Sorensen, my apologies, 7 catches for 116 yards. Miami of Ohio really easily able to win this game here. And now on to the Battle of the Sunshine State. It is UCF and Florida. Of course, Florida did not have that great of a year this year. This was the Gasparilla Bowl, and of course, with Dylan Gabriel out with injury, UCF has kind of had to go the other quarterbacks. This one they went with Mikey Keene, and he went 14 of 22 for 144 yards and a touchdown as well. But this was a day for Isaiah Bowser and Ryan O'Keefe. Isaiah Bowser had 35 carries. 35 carries, 155 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Ryan O'Keefe, through the air, 7 catches, 85 yards, and a touchdown. But on the ground, he was a great presence as well. 4 carries for 110 yards. And on the other side for Florida, Emory Jones just did not play well. 14 of 36. So through 22 incomplete passes, only 171 yards. The run game could not make up for what Emory Jones didn't have in the pass game. and UCF wins the Gasparilla Bowl and the Battle of the Sunshine State, 2 teams in the state of Florida, by 12. Now, we were supposed to have a game on Christmas Eve. It was the Hawaii Bowl between Memphis and Hawaii. That ended up getting canceled due to COVID concerns in Hawaii, and their basketball team was canceling a lot of games at this point as well. So no football, no college football on Christmas Eve, but we did get college football on Christmas, and it was a thrashing of a game. Georgia State, the Panthers, absolutely obliterating Ball State, the Cardinals, in the Kimmel Bowl. Darren Granger for Georgia State, 15 of 19, 203 yards, 3 touchdowns, along with 11 carries, 122 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. His favorite target through the air in this one was Aubrey Payne, 8 catches for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. Drew Plitt, again, Ball State has had its offensive struggles this year, but Drew Plitt has remained sort of a constant this year, right? He's been fairly solid for them all year long. 27 of 46 for 293 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Jay-Sean Jackson, 12 catches, 146 yards, and a touchdown. But again, nowhere near the offensive numbers that Georgia State put up in this game as they win the Kimmel Bowl. December 27th, there were supposed to be 2 games, but sadly the second game here between East Carolina Boston College got canceled. So we were just left with the Quick Lane Bowl, and this was a thrashing by Western Michigan. For Nevada, though, they did have a lot of stars out preparing for the draft. Of course, no Romeo Doubs, no Cole Turner, and most importantly, no Carson Strong. So it's a pretty solid win here for Western Michigan. Shining in this one is Sean Tyler, Jackson Kincaid. Jackson Kincaid actually had a really nice game, 17 carries for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sean Tyler, 14 carries for 146 yards. Caleb Ellaby only threw 14 passes, but still 162 yards and 2 touchdowns and a pick for him. Went 8 of 14. Western Michigan wins the Quick Lane Bowl. Moving on to the games played on December 28th, and we were supposed to have one more, but after getting off the bus, getting ready to play the game, NC State got canceled on. UCLA canceled the game. They tried to find a replacement team, but couldn't, rightfully so. Pissed off a lot of NC State people, including myself. I thought, well, they're there, right? Let's get them someone to play. Couldn't find anyone, so they had to go home right away, which, again, just shouldn't have happened. December 28th now, though. We got Houston and Auburn kicking off this slate of games, and this was still a fun slate of games here. Houston, of course, Houston, Auburn. This is the Birmingham Bowl. Was a defensive game. Not really a whole lot of offense until the end. Offense started to pick up towards the end. Clayton Tune, quarterback for Houston, went 26 of 40, 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Nathaniel Dell was doing his thing, 150 yards on 10 catches. But it was Jake Herslow who was the hero for this game for the Houston Cougars. He had 5 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown, including the game-winning or the go-ahead, what would be the game-winning touchdown towards the end. Auburn could not come back and score, but some stats for Auburn. TJ Finley, 19 of 36, 227 yards and a touchdown. Of course, no more Bo Nix. He has since transferred to Oregon. So we'll see what both these teams do next year, but a really good performance down the stretch by, at the time, the 20th ranked Houston Cougars and the American Athletic runner-ups. Now in the First Responders Bowl, again, it feels like first responders, armed forces, they should be winning these games. Well, welcome, Air Force and Louisville, and let me tell you, Air Force's offense was stunning, especially the pass offense, which is not like Air Force. It's not like any of the armed forces. Again, they run a lot of triple option, but the pass game was really good for Air Force in this game. Hazeek Daniels went 9 of 10 for 252 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both of those touchdowns being to Brandon Lewis, who I thought was the player of the game. If it wasn't, well, it was probably, I take that back. I think Hazeek Daniels was the player of the game, but if I had to give you another one, it'd be Brandon Lewis. He had 5 catches, 172 yards, and 2 touchdowns. An amazing day for him, but to go along with those passing stats I said earlier, Hazeek Daniels also had 15 carries for 29 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. And, well, Louisville tried to make a comeback in the second half. Malik Cunningham, 13 of 21, 207 yards and a touchdown, along with 12 carries for 63 yards and a touchdown. Had some guys helping him out there, pulling off offensive plays, but just could not. They could not pull pull it out, and Air Force wins the First Responders Bowl. Now to the Liberty Bowl, and this was an absolute thrashing that I don't think anybody saw coming. This one was all Texas Tech from start to finish. Will Rogers and the offense could get nothing going, but a lot working for Texas Tech in this game, particularly the run game. And Taj Brooks, 16 carries, 107 yards, and a touchdown. Roderick Thompson, 14 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown for him. They went with Donovan Smith at quarterback, and he played fine. 252 yards and a touchdown for him, and a thrashing by the Texas Tech Red Raiders of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Moving on now to the final game on the 28th, the Guaranteed Rate Bowl between West Virginia and Minnesota. Minnesota, for me, was kind of right where I thought they would be, and West Virginia, for me, was a disappointment this year, and it showed not a good performance by West Virginia in this game at all. And the run attack for Minnesota was elite. Now, just think, they have all these guys back there, and Mo Ibrahim is coming back next year. Minnesota's running back room is going to be scary deep. Kai Thomas, 21 carries, 144 yards and a touchdown. Marquise Irving, 19 carries and 129 yards. And just think, Trayson Potts was still there. He was also hurt. So that you were getting down to your third, fourth, fifth string running backs, and they were still putting up numbers like I just said. Minnesota's running back room can be really good next year, and they win the Guaranteed Rate Bowl on December 28th. All right, there were supposed to be 4 games on December 29th, but SMU and Virginia got canceled due to COVID concerns, so we only had 3. We're going to kick it off now. Maryland and Virginia Tech, and again, this one was a total thrashing by Maryland as well. Talia Tungvailoa, 20 of 24, 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. Favorite target in this one was Darryl Jones. He had 4 catches for 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, 54 points scored by Maryland as they win the Pinstripe Bowl here late in December. Now on to the Cheeza Ball being played late at night. And Iowa State had its chances to win this game, but some very, very ill-advised mistakes by Brock Purdy, which I will get to. But first, let's talk about what Clemson did in order to win this game. At the time, the 19th ranked team in the nation. DJ Uiagalelei, 21 of 32, 187 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. It's just how the season has gone for DJ. Let's hope he can get some better stats moving into next season, because again, everyone thought this guy was going to have the it factor, including myself. I thought he was going to be a really good quarterback, was going to push Clemson into possibly a deep playoff run, maybe not necessarily a national title, but definitely a playoff run, and it just did not work out this year. We'll see if he can get better next year, but a guy that we know is going to ball out next year for Clemson is Will Shipley, coming back from injury just a couple of games ago. He went 18 of 61 for a touchdown and threw the air 5 catches for 53 yards. But again, what did I talk about? Brock Purdy. Let's go through his stat line first. He went 23 of 39, 204 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Now, the interception was a very ill-advised interception. The ball was batted at the line, and instead of Brock Purdy just not even trying to catch his own pass, literally was just trying to, I don't even know. What quarterbacks are taught is if that pass goes up in the air and you're near it, you either try to catch it or you bat it down. He batted it forward, away from him. He was just like, I don't want it. He was like trying to swat a fly away. I don't know what he was doing. Ended up getting picked. And towards the end of the game as well, a costly fumble for Brock Purdy on a 4th and 8. Had the line to gain, then fumbled it, recovered it behind the line to gain. And that meant, of course, he did not get the first down. It was a crazy play. You have to go watch it to know what I'm talking about. But disappointment for Cyclone fans, I'm sure. Brock Purdy, probably the best quarterback they've had, but that game, people are going to remember that game. I'm definitely going to remember that game. But 19th ranked Clemson Tigers get it done, and they still double-digit win season. Now on to the Alamo Bowl here between the 14th ranked Oregon Ducks and the 16th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. And Oklahoma, this was really no contest. Again, Oregon had a lot of players sitting out. Caleb Williams, who is since transferring from Oklahoma, maybe, possibly, but he went 21 of 27, 242 yards with 3 touchdowns. Kennedy Brooks was great. Eric Gray was great. And again, Anthony Brown without, of course, his main guys, a wide receiver who have been all over the place this year, and Oregon without the guys on defense, not able to keep up. But Anthony Brown, again, solid day, 306 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception for him. Travis Dye, though, had a good game, 18 carries for 153 yards and a touchdown. Again, Oklahoma jumped out to a really early lead. Oklahoma tried to make it interesting with comebacks, but again, just could not get it done. And Oklahoma wins the Alamo Bowl, which ends our second column of games, moving in to our third column, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Sam Howell, not a great day for him at all. Only 12 of 20 for 205 yards and a touchdown, and 13 carries for only 3 yards. Yes, that is including sack yardage as well. And not a whole lot more to report from North Carolina, but South Carolina, who has happened to pick up a, pretty good transfer. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Spencer Rattler. Yeah, is kind of an okay quarterback. Spencer Rattler is going to have a lot to work with here at South Carolina. But the quarterback playing for them that I want to highlight in this one was, I promise you I will butcher this name, but I will try not to, Dakrion Joyner. He went 9 of 9, 160 yards and a touchdown, 10 carries for 64 yards. He had a passer rating of 98.4, which is absolutely outstanding. A great day for Joyner. And Kevin Harris, 31 carries for 182 yards and a touchdown there as well. And then Jaheim Bell, 5 catches for 159 yards and 2 touchdowns for him. Zeb Neuer did play some in this game as well, but I did want to highlight Joyner's performance in that game. So Spencer Rattler's going to have stuff to work with. Also getting Austin Stogner over there to South Carolina. South Carolina is a team you got to watch out for next year. I'm telling you, I know it's early. I know it's only the 13th of January as of recording and uploading this, but you got to watch out for South Carolina. And speaking of watching out, the ref needed his glasses in this game, and I promise you we will get there. But this was the Music City Bowl in Nashville, and I'm going to go through some of these stat lines because they are ridiculous. The amount of offense in this game was outstanding. Hendon Hooker, 26 of 41 for 378 yards, 5 touchdowns. Jabari Small, running back, 26 carries for 180 yards and a touchdown. And Cedric Tillman, 7 catches for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns for him. On the Purdue side of things, 26 of 47, 534 yards, 5 touchdowns and 3 picks for Aiden O'Connell. Brock Thompson. Now, of course, they did not have David Bell in this game, but Brock Thompson showed up. 7 catches for 217 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Peyton Durham, tight end that Aiden O'Connell really likes, 5 catches for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns for him. But Tennessee fans feel like they got screwed on 4th and goal. Purdue able to stop them, and Purdue probably going to win the game in overtime. So the game goes into overtime, right? And then Tennessee gets the ball. They're driving, they kind of have their things. And then 4th down comes. They go for it, and then they get it. And then Purdue, amazing goal line stand by Purdue these past couple plays. And then on 4th and goal, Tennessee runs the ball, and they get it in. It's a touchdown. Wait, what? You're telling me that they didn't? No, but he got across the line. Ref, that's unbelievable. It's ref ball at its finest. I have no idea how a touchdown did not get awarded to Tennessee. I've seen 50 different angles on that play. I have a buddy who's up at Purdue, I really have no idea how Tennessee did not get awarded points on that. But I guess if you're Purdue, you don't argue with it and you take it. And certainly Mitchell Finneran did. I probably butchered that name as well. I apologize. But the kicker for Purdue didn't seem to care and did not mind at all. He had a game-winning 39-yard field goal in overtime. My buddy, again, who goes to Purdue, was at that game, says it was a lot of fun, very fun environment. One of the best games he's been to in a long time, ref ball aside. But, yeah, I mean, Tennessee fans, you should feel like you got screwed because you probably did. I mean, I'm just being honest here. I definitely don't know how that didn't get awarded because his body was not down anywhere. So, I mean, there you go. Controversy in bowl season. Ref ball does not stop. But Purdue still, regardless on what happened in that game, Purdue gets the win and a fantastic season for Jeff Brom and Purdue. And a season where I thought Purdue might be coach hunting this offseason. But no, they are definitely going to be sticking with Jeff Brom. That was the Music City Bowl. Purdue gets the win. Now in the Las Vegas Bowl, Wisconsin pretty much controlled this game against Arizona State. Braylon Allen led this team as he has since he's been on the field. 29 carries for 159 yards. It'll be interesting what Wisconsin does with Braylon Allen and Jalen Berger transferring out to Michigan State now. So Braylon Allen probably going to be that primary back there at Wisconsin. So interesting stuff. We'll see how Allen plays next year, but I think Allen could be a top 10 running back next year. You'll have to wait until around May or so or sometime in the summer to see my full top 10 list, but I'm just telling you, Braylon Allen, don't be surprised if he's on there. Just a kid, I believe is 18 now. He's really, really good. Wisconsin wins the Las Vegas Bowl. Now on December 31st, which, yes, is the day the playoff semifinals were supposed to be played. But again, as I told you guys, I reviewed those in another video. So we got here Wake Forest, and I do apologize. There should be a ranking here next to Wake Forest. They were, I believe, the 17th ranked team in the nation. So I do apologize for that. They were supposed to be a 17 here for Wake Forest. But again, no problems here with Rutgers in the Gator Bowl after their opponents in Texas A&M called out due to COVID. Sam Hartman went 23 of 39, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns. A.T. Perry, 10 catches for 127 yards and a touchdown. Wake Forest able to win that one easily. Again, I do apologize. There really should be a 17 here. And then we were supposed to have a couple other games, but Boise State not able to, or excuse me, Boise State not able to go and play Central Michigan in the Barstool Sports, and then of course Miami canceling on Washington State in the Sun Bowl. So what they do, they just slotted Central Michigan into the Sun Bowl with Washington State, and they ended up winning it. And it, again, Lou Nichols shines in this game. 30 carries, 138 yards, and a touchdown for him. He was fantastic this year for Central Michigan. Look for him to be fantastic next year as well. Again, don't be surprised if he is on my top 10 running back list next year, because he was outstanding this year. Probably can be really outstanding next year as well. Central Michigan wins the Sun Bowl against the Washington State team that really did struggle in this game. I know the score ended up being pretty close. I was on a plane for most of that game, so I really didn't get to watch that super closely. But yeah, Washington State definitely struggling throughout that game from what I saw. Just a couple more games left here. January 1st, of course, New Year's Day. We had the other 3 New Year's 6 bowls that weren't playoff, or the other 3, of course, Michigan State Pitt played here. We have the other 3 here, but again, I'm reviewing the non-New Year's 6 bowl games. Kicked us off with Penn State and Arkansas, and this one was won by Arkansas here. KJ Jefferson went 14 of 19, 98 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception with 20 carries, 110 yards, and a touchdown as well. Raheem Sanders, a running back for Arkansas, 13 carries, 79 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But Sean Clifford and Penn State didn't make it easy on him. But again, not the best game for Sean Clifford. Only went 14 of 32 for 195 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Favorite 2 targets, and it's going to be their favorite 2 targets next year. Of course, no Jahan Dotson in this game. Parker Washington and Keandre Lambert-Smith each had over 70 yards receiving, and Keandre Lambert-Smith had that 1 touchdown from Sean Clifford, but they come up 14 points short as the 21st ranked Razorbacks win their 9th game of the year. And they get to kick it off with Cincinnati at the start of next year. That'll be definitely a game to watch. And that was in the Outback Bowl. Now moving on to the Citrus Bowl with Iowa and Kentucky. And this one was played beautifully by Kentucky. But Iowa, not making things easy on Kentucky. Spencer Petras went 19 of 30 in this game, 211 yards, a touchdown, but 3 interceptions. That really did help Kentucky out in this game because Kentucky did not turn the football over. Iowa did. And I thought the script was going to be flipped in that game. But Will Levis had a great game for Kentucky. 17 of 28, 233 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. As did Chris Rodriguez, had a good game, 20 carries for 170 yards and a touchdown. But the guy who really had a good day and was really making plays down the stretch for the 22nd ranked Wildcats, Wandel Robinson, the former transfer of Nebraska. 10 catches, 170 yards. He was fantastic in this game for Kentucky, and Kentucky gets the 3-point win as they score late in the Citrus Bowl to pull away from the Iowa Hawkeyes. And the last game of bowl season happened on January 4th. It's the Texas Bowl between LSU and Kansas State. LSU did not have a true quarterback playing quarterback, and it showed LSU did not look great in this game at all. Kansas State did. Skylar Thompson, 21 of 28, 259 yards, 3 touchdowns. Deuce Vaughn was cooking all day long as well. 21 carries, 146 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Did have a receiving touchdown as well as Kansas State wins the Texas Bowl by 22. And there you go. A little bit of a longer video than I wanted to, but hey, sometimes these things happen when you're reviewing all these sorts of games. But yeah, that was every bowl game besides the New Year's Six games. Again, if you are looking for the New Year's Six games, I've made videos on them. Just go ahead, click on my channel icon, and check them out. If you want to see any more content from me, please hit subscribe, like the video, comment down below that you liked it, ring the bell so you know when I upload. Tomorrow, I believe I'm going to try to get up my final top 25 of 2021. Of the 2021-2022 college football season. It was a very fun season. I said this in my national championship preview. I had fun, or my national championship review, I apologize. I had fun covering the season for you guys, and I hope to do the same for you guys next season. So, hey, again, thank you guys so much for clicking on the video, and if you stick with me throughout this season, or you joined late, midway, it doesn't matter. Just thank you guys for being a part of this season with me. We got a long off season upcoming. Lots of fun video ideas I got planned out. We'll see what happens this off season, and I will let you know when I will start team preview predictions, top 10 players, everything like that. But it's been a fun season. I hope to see you guys next year. I hope to see you guys back. But the most important thing I want you to remember, play hard, but tailgate harder. I will see all you guys in the next one. Goodbye.